Welcome to ABC's Wide World of Sports, continuing a tradition of excellence which began in 1961. At age 41, Harry Gant, a race driver from Taylorsville, North Carolina, has never won a single race on the Grand National Circuit of NASCAR. He is, however, the leader in the Atlanta 500, one of the major races of the year, one of the harbingers of the coming of spring in the South. It's a beautiful afternoon, a few clouds coming in, but still temperature in the 60s. Wonderful for racing. A crowd of 61,500 is on hand. Dale Earnhardt, who is in second place in the race, is in the pits right now. Now, the situation is this. All of the leaders have pitted under the green flag now, yes, all of them, except for this car, number 47. He is the leader, but when he pits, it's a question of whether he gets out quickly enough to stay ahead of Cale Yarborough, for example, who was in second place when this series of pit stops began. So that's the story at this moment as we come to you live from Atlanta International Raceway. Now to Diana Nyad. We're live at Atlanta International Raceway. This is Jim McKay with Jackie Stewart, and there is the leader in the Atlanta 500, Harry Gant of Taylorsville, North Carolina, in car number 47. And there are the second and third place cars, and what a battle this is at the moment. Number 27 is Cale Yarborough. Number 21 is Neil Bonnet. Think of this, Harry Gant, the leader, has never won a Grand National race in NASCAR. The man in second place, Cale Yarborough, has won 69 Grand National races, and he's a year younger, actually, than is Harry Gant. However, the major consideration here is that all of these leaders have pitted under the green flag, except Harry Gant. He hasn't come in. He must be getting very near to running out of fuel. And if he pits under the green, he's going to lose that lead almost certainly. A report from the pits now from our man Chris Ikatamaki. Chris?
Well, Jim, Harry Gant will have to come in momentarily, and he will lose the lead. And he'll lose to either Cale Yarborough or Neil Bonnet. We have a worried pit crew here in Bonnet's pit because his car has developed a vibration in the last few laps. He was passed recently by Cale Yarborough, and they are concerned. As far as the race is concerned, it's the first time in Atlanta for the new downsized cars, and the crew chiefs up and down pit road have been making minute adjustments on the cars to tailor them to the track. Back to you, Jim.
All right, Chris, looking to the future, then it looks like very shortly these two cars will be battling for the lead. Remember, they're still battling for second right now. But Harry Gant pits, these will be the two lead cars, and what a battle to the finish this could be. We have less than 100 laps to go now, 98 laps left in the race. And it's Cale Yarborough and Neil Bonnet out there dicing, sizing each other up, and still waiting for Harry Gant to pit. I don't know how he's gone this far on the fuel, Jackie.
Well, he's running with economy. He must have a little bit of Scotland in him right now. And there's Harry Gant in the picture. It may be that Harry Gant's having a little bit of air getting into his system there, and maybe he gulped a breath of air there. And of course, if he's low on fuel, that's exactly what he would have to do. He's still high on the banking as they go round there, which means that he cannot get into the pit lane because that's turn 4 they're in right now. He has at least to do one more lap, so therefore when he goes into the pits he is going to be embarrassed. And that real tight little package as they go past the start finishing line with Cale Yarborough in car number 27 low on the racetrack, Harry Gant car number 47 high, and Neil Bonnet and the Wood brothers there in car number 21.
And Cale Yarborough has taken the lead. Cale Yarborough in first place, and here comes Neil Bonnet in car number 21.
Cale Yarborough, enormously experienced, Jim. What an amazing driver he is. He really is. He's 40 years of age. He's a man with tremendous experience. A man that, of course, is so used to winning, as you were saying. Harry Gant still looking for that win that would be so nice for him, particularly in a super speedway like this. Number 27, that's your man right now as we're looking at him.
40-year-old Cale Yarborough, and up in front, number 47. Harry Gant at age 41, looking for that first Grand National victory. And it looks like finally he is going to come in, or is he? Looked like he was moving down, Jackie, but now he's still not coming in.
Well, he's looking for somewhere to go, but he's still running on that air, it seems. He seems to be confident. I'm sure his pit are concerned, but remember, most of these cars are fitted with two-way radios so that they can speak to their crew chiefs and tell them what's going on. The crew chief should be able to work out the fuel consumption almost to the half-mile. And remember, this is a 1.5-mile racetrack round here, 24 degrees of banking in Atlanta. And of course, we're live, and therefore, if there is any communication going to Harry Gant, he'll be speaking to his crew chief about it. But certainly...
And now, wait a minute, Neil Bonnet coming down low, Jackie, is coming into the pits.
Well, Neil Bonnet was in just a little while ago.
This is not scheduled.
He was in at 217 laps, and we're now into 235. We were getting that report from Chris Economaki that he had a vibration. Neil Bonnet is pointing forward. You can see him looking under the hood. And every time they lift the hood in a NASCAR event, it means a very expensive pit stop. That's the Wood brothers, of course, one of the most experienced teams in racing today anyway in the world. That's the best crew you would have. Any race driver would want to have them. Neil Bonnet, tremendously talented driver, a man of 34 years of age at his best. We've got the clock running there, 24 seconds, mounting up. They're not rushing this. I'm afraid it looks bad for Neil Bonnet. What a shame, because a man of tremendous talent. They've closed it with great leisure. I think you might be seeing the end of the day for Neil Bonnet and the Wood brothers in this specially prepared Ford that they've been running here, and it may be that the office is being closed. There he goes, he's being pushed away. Very disappointing for a man, Jim, that's been setting the pace to a very large extent today, driving with great consistency and almost dominating at one stage of this race.
Meanwhile, it seems to me, Jackie, that Cale Yarborough is moving out more smoothly and quicker all the time. He is moving away from Harry Gant in the relationship on the racetrack. Remember, we saw him pass Harry Gant. Technically, Gant is still almost a lap ahead of Cale, but he still hasn't made that pit stop. So this car, from a realistic point of view, almost certainly has to become the leader, unless that yellow comes out that Harry Gant's been praying for, you can be sure.
Well, of course, tactics come into NASCAR racing in a very important way. And here Harry Gant comes. Here he comes. Harry Gant coming down pit lane at high speed. His pit's at the far end here. He's got to be careful. He doesn't overshoot his pit. He's going very quickly indeed. Coming in there, his crew are getting out there. We'll get the clock on this as he starts the pit work there. Our clock is running on him right now. Harry Gant's getting rubber on the outside when everybody else came in, and you can see that water spraying on the radiator to cool that and clear it with from any stuff that might be on there, leaves or any pieces of paper.
And
it was
Cale,
a 14.7
excuse me, Jackie, and Cale has gone past him to take the lead. Just as you were speaking there, 14.8 was it?
Yeah, 14.8 seconds, which is very fast. But in the last few pit stops, Cale Yarborough came in there, and he changed all 4 tires in 24.6 seconds. He did that in lap 217. So that was pretty impressive, but that certainly was good. Chris Economaki, I believe, is down in the pits with Neil Bonnet.
That's right. It's a sad moment here. Leonard Wood is telling Neil what happened to the car. What happened, a fan belt broke, a fan blade broke, went off and cut a tire. When did the vibration start, Neil? How long ago?
When I made that 4-tire stop a while ago, I called them on the radio and told them that I picked up a real bad vibration. It flung a fan blade off through the right front wheel and blew the tire out. We changed all 4 tires and went back out. And the fan belt just shook the water pump to pieces. It was vibrating so bad. So all the water come out of the motor.
You think he could have won it?
It's pretty strong.
Yeah, Neil Bonnet, bad story, but he's out of it. Back to you, Jim.
Okay, Chris Economaki in the pits as the leader. Cale Yarborough just passed the start-finish line yet again. Now, he's got a solid lead, but not as much as we thought he might have put on Harry Gant, really. Harry Gant is still within striking distance. He's about 200 yards behind him.
Well, of course, you've got experience running in the positive side for car number 27, being Cale Yarborough. So therefore, he at this time, with all of that experience, must surely help.
The lead now is just under 5 seconds. Yarborough over Harry Gant. More to come live from Atlanta. We're back live again in Atlanta. Jim McKay with Jackie Stewart in the commentary booth, and there is the leader in the Atlanta 500, Cale Yarborough, Timmonsville, South Carolina. Now we're looking for the second place car, and there it is. As you see, Harry Gant less than 5 seconds behind Cale Yarborough, and certainly within striking distance. A yellow flag or any incident of any sort could really put these two cars very close together, as you can see. Of course, we're going to be coming back for much more of this and taking the race to its conclusion. Right now, we're going to the World Cup Bodybuilding Championship. Our commentator, Diana Nayad. This is Jim McKay reporting live again from the Atlanta 500. We've had an incident involving car number 71 driven by Dave Marcus, and that in fact is the car in which we have had a live camera placed today. There are the standings in the race. First of all, Marcus appears so far to be okay. Harry Gant, the leader, then Cale Yarborough, Jody Ridley, and Dale Earnhardt. You saw there is car number 71. He hit the end of the pit wall after spinning. When he walked to the ambulance, Dave Marcus said to someone there, it's his own quote, that his ribs hurt him, and that's all. Here's the shot from inside the car, Jackie.
And here you see him, he's in turn 4 at this point as we are following the action of David Marcus driving this car. Look at the car in front spinning. That's the car belonging to Tim Richmond. Look at the hand movement there of Dave Marcus trying to get out of the way. He's in the smoke now, he can't see correctly. Now the car's gone down the hill, down the banking, 24 degrees of banking. He's trying to correct it. The car is now going sideways at this point, and the car is sliding all the way up the hill. There seems to be a freeze frame on our picture right now. We take this action over as we see it from our camera position high in the grandstand, and look at the impact here as it hits. Great rubber tires protecting the end of the pit wall.
Richmond up against the wall. Yep.
Richmond up against the wall, car number 99. The car of Dave Marcus goes upside down. Remember, these are over 3,000-pound vehicles that you're seeing tossing themselves in the air here as if they were just lightweight toys. The wall is missed there, just missed by Tim Richmond. The car stays upright, and look at the size of that great earth mover tire. It was moved right out of position by the vehicle of Dave Marcus. Dave Marcus seems to be okay. The action that he was obviously taking was to avoid the spinning car of Tim Richmond, the 99 car. He did walk to the ambulance. Dave Marcus, I'm sure, is in good condition. Just another great demonstration of how safely these cars are built.
Let's have another look at this, Jackie. Now remember, we're looking from a live television camera through the windshield of car number 71 just before Tim Richmond up in front, as you will see, begins to spin in car number 99. Richmond, who was Rookie of the Year at Indianapolis. There he goes.
And he started to spin. It looks like he might have hit oil, or oil went onto his rear wheels, because it wasn't in a regular place for him to spin. Very difficult. He could have hit a bump or anything else. Look at the work being done here by Dave Marcus, really working the steering wheel. The car is now, as they call it, an opposite lock, and there we lose our picture because obviously tremendous amount of action inside that car. So therefore he really did get himself out of that problem, and then suddenly he hit the end of the pit wall here coming out of turn 4. So a very lucky escape, Jim, for our driver.
No question, and one of the most remarkable camera shots we've seen in a while. I don't ever remember before actually seeing what a driver sees when suddenly he is in trouble. Well, that's our latest report live from the Atlanta 500. Much more to come here. Again now, back to the bodybuilding and Diana Nyad. The green flag is out, and we have a tremendous race for the lead in the Atlanta 500. Number 27, Cale Yarborough, and number 47, Harry Gant. They were side by side just as we came here, but now Gant has begun to drop back very quickly. That's the first and third cars on your screen that are actually battling for the lead. There'll be more of the bodybuilding very shortly, but right now we are live from the Atlanta International Raceway. Does it look to you, Jackie Stewart, as if Harry's falling back a little bit?
Well, I think he may have had a little problem on one of the corners there, Jim. I think you will see him trying to get back. You can see him working hard in the cockpit there as they go around this 24-degree banking here in Atlanta. Dale Earnhardt, the car number 2 there. Harry Gant getting past him again. In car number 47, Dale Earnhardt in third place as we look at this race, but he's a lap behind. So the car number 47 there obviously had a little bit of a hiccup, lost a little bit of ground on Cale Yarborough. That's the lead car on the right-hand side of your screen, car number 27. As we come past the start-finishing line, they've completed 266 laps out of this 328-lap, 500-mile race here in Atlanta.
Cale Yarborough, the leader. Car number 27, Harry Gant, in car number 47. Chris Economaki with a report from the pits.
I'm down at Harry Gant's pit, Jim, and crew chief Bob Johnson is a man torn between loyalty to his driver and an important $10,000 prize for the car leading the most laps in this race. He did not bring Gant in during this last yellow flag for fuel and tires so he could stay out and set the pace and qualify for this $10,000 prize. Now, Gant's car has about 3/4 the amount of fuel in the tank that Yarborough's has. If Gant has to stop to fill up and Yarborough gets a yellow flag, it's goodbye for Harry Gant. Back to you, Jim.
And right now, Harry Gant is closing in on Cale Yarborough for the lead. What an interesting battle. A man going for his 70th Grand National victory in car number 27, Cale Yarborough, and a man going for his first Grand National victory at age 41 in car number 47, Harry Gant. Now, Gant sat on the first row at the beginning of this race, on the outside of the first row. On the inside was Terry Labonte. Labonte was competitive for a good while in the race, but then developed problems and is no longer a factor. In fact, there are only two cars on the same lap here, Cale Yarborough and Harry Gant. Dale Earnhardt in third place, remember, is a lap down. So is Benny Parsons, the one-time cab driver from Detroit, and Bobby Allison. Bobby Allison, by the way, has been the center of controversy here all week long because in the early part of this NASCAR season, it appeared that his car, Bobby is the only one driving a Pontiac Le Mans, seemed to have some advantage under the new rules because of the shape of his rear windshield. So NASCAR said instead of having 3.5 inches of spoiler on the back, they would only give Bobby Allison, I think, first 1.5 inches and then later 2.5 inches as a compromise. He said, no, that is very dangerous. There is Bobby Allison. He said, it's not only dangerous, but will make my car uncompetitive. Well, it hasn't been uncompetitive today. In fact, we're battling for the lead at one point, but now it is Harry Gant making a serious bid for the lead from Cale Yarborough. So Allison at one point said he wasn't going to race. He finally decided to race with a 2.5-inch spoiler, so that's that controversy. But here's the real controversy of the day between these two.
Well, Harry Gant has been competitive all day long. He led away this race, and in fact, to begin with, for the first 23 laps, he led the race. Then he came in on lap 23, in fact, for an 18.77 second pit stop. He obviously had rubber go flat in the right rear. He changed that rubber, went back out, and he's fought his way all the way back up through this 500-mile race that we're watching right now to take this lead again, and he certainly has been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack all day long. It certainly is nice, Jim, to see a driver who has never had a major victory of this kind try to get a victory in such an important race, because the Atlanta 500, one of the most prestigious races in this NASCAR championship trail. Tremendous crowd assembled here at Atlanta. A record crowd of 61,500 people have come to see this race in ideal racing conditions. Slightly overcast now, which makes it ideal for racing temperature-wise for the cars and for the drivers.
Harry Gant still in first place. Cale Yarborough in second place, by the way, on this racetrack alone has earned $286,000 in his career. And here is Gant looking for his first. Harry Gant, an independent. He doesn't have the financial and physical resources at his command that a team car like Cale Yarborough or Richard Petty or Benny Parsons, one of those would have. But Harry Gant today is still leading them. They have covered 272 laps. That means 56 laps left in the race. Only those two on the same lap. Harry Gant, 41 years old. He's a big man, 6 feet tall, weighs 195. I'll bet he's shedding weight out there. I doubt that he weighs 195 at this moment. Father of 2 children. As we said, for a good many years, he drove in the NASCAR late model sportsman class, a lesser class than the big time here. And this is only really his 3rd full season in the Grand National. There he is.
And there's Harry Gant working the steering wheel there. You can see him working it with his hands high on the steering wheel. The Cale Yarborough driving technique, oddly enough, is slightly different. That's the picture of Harry Gant you see on the top right-hand side of your picture there, the cowboy hat. A very important part of stock car racing at this time in the Southern Stock Car Trail. Harry Gant, slightly smoother, you would say, in handwork on turn 2 there. Maybe a little later we'll be able to see the hands of Cale Yarborough, whose car seems to be just a little bit twitchier on turn 1 and 2. But certainly Harry Gant's car is working well for him today. Okay,
we might point out, Jackie, that just behind these 2 leaders we have car number 15. That's Benny Parsons. We also have, there's number 15. Now he's a lap behind, but should he unlap himself from those 2 leaders, and then there'd be a yellow, he could be right in this. So could car number 2 there, the yellow hood. That's Dale Earnhardt. A lot yet to come, live from Atlanta. We return again live to Atlanta International Raceway. Jim McKay with Jackie Stewart, Chrissy Kanamaki, and Sam Posey. We haven't heard from Sam yet, but he's down there in the pits. And there are the leaders, Harry Gant, Cale Yarborough, the only 2 on the same lap, but lurking behind them with a chance to unlap themselves, and still therefore in competition are Dale Earnhardt, number 2, number 28, Bobby Allison, and number 15, Benny Parsons. So possibly 5 cars to get into it, but at the moment it's just the two, 47 and 27. Now there is Benny Parsons. He is in 3rd place apparently on the race course, but as we say, he is a lap down. His trick right now is somehow to pass those 2 leaders and get on the same lap and hope for a yellow flag.
And we've had a car blow his engine going along the front stretch, going into turn 1, and they've thrown the yellow flag. So this brings this race back to life. It's car number 48. James Hilton has blown an engine, and he's low on the racetrack. You can see the smoke pouring out there. He's switched off his engine right now, staying out of the groove. Hilton, a very experienced driver, knows to stay out of the groove in case he is dropping oil and therefore jeopardizing other race cars with perhaps a slippery condition on the racetrack. You can see it puffing out of the exhaust there. All the valves have gone. The internal combustion has failed, James.
When you say he's been out there a long time, you're right. James Hilton is 45 years old, out of Inman, South Carolina, a real veteran. But of course, in racing, it seems even more today than in the old days, Jackie. We see men driving until they're 45 and 50 years of age. Now, there, Cale Yarborough is coming into the pits. There he is, car number 27. We do not see Gant coming in as yet, but we would expect to see them all coming in under the yellow flag here. That's the ideal time to pit.
And Harry Gant still on the racetrack, as you can see. Whether he will in fact stay out to try and get these $10,000 or not. But they're changing 4 tires as we look down from our commentary position here on the Cale Yarborough car. He's past the 24-second mark as Harry Gant tucks himself in behind the pace car there and goes around here. Cale Yarborough's gone out on 29 seconds. A long pit stop, but sure.
Okay. The $10,000 Jackie referred to is a prize for leading the most laps. Gant's after that too, as well as to win the race. Now back to the bodybuilding. We're about to get a restart in the Atlanta 500. Still coming to you live from Atlanta International Raceway. We'll see whether it be number 27, Cale Yarborough, or number 47, Harry Gant, who seizes the lead when they begin. They're the only 2 cars on the same lap. We have 45 laps left in the race. That is 67 miles. They've had their pit stops. It's going to be what they used to call an old-fashioned trophy dash to the finish. No pit stop should be needed. It's just going to be which car is the faster, which driver is the more clever. And one of them, Cale Yarborough, has been in these super speedways for so many years. He's won 69 of these races, looking for his 70th. The other one, Harry Gant, has driven many race cars on shorter tracks, but he's not as experienced at this. And here they come. The green flag is out and they're racing. It's Cale Yarborough on the left of your screen there, up high, taking the lead as they go into the first turn. Harry Gant is right behind him. It's Yarborough, 27, followed by 47. Harry Gant in the yellow car. Those are the 2. They are the story here. What started out as an absolutely beautiful sunny day is now overcast. We could have some rain up to here. We're being fortunate in that regard. We hope it'll hold off until when this race is over.
And it really is David and Goliath here because, of course, the car of Cale Yarborough, mightily financed with enormous resources and experience against the privateer Harry Gant and the yellow car, number 47, you just saw there in your picture. Behind him, you see Bobby Allison and car number 28. You see Harry Gant with his hands firmly clasped to the steering wheel, managing to get through turn 1 and 2 there without a great deal of work on the steering wheel, where earlier in the race we were watching the same picture of Cale Yarborough and he was sawing at the wheel trying to get this car to work. This year they've got the shorter chassis, the smaller cars, the mid-sized American cars, and let's try and see Cale Yarborough as he now goes into turn 1. You can see his hands on the steering wheel there, and we'll try and go in tight and see how he handles this turn 1. Now look at the movement of his hands. You see the hands moving, sawing up and down on the steering wheel there, as you see Cale Yarborough cocking his head to the side, to the left-hand side, to compensate for the G-forces as he goes round this 24-degree banking and this 1.5-mile oval here at Atlanta. We're live at Atlanta. Cale Yarborough, the leader in that car, the white and black car, and then the yellow car, Harry Gant in second position here.
Both of them veterans. Cale Yarborough, 40 years old. Harry Gant, 41 years old. You can imagine how much the hungrier Harry Gant is of these 2. All those years, the late model sportsman, now his 3rd year on the Grand National Circuit. And this is not just winning any Grand National race. This is one of the really big ones, the spring race at Atlanta, and it's 500 miles. Chris, do you have something in the pits?
Yes, I was just down at Cale Yarborough's pit, and his crew chief, David If, said, Harry Gant has a better set of tires on his cars. We're going to change our car and put the kind of tires on it that Harry Gant has. Now that Cale has the same tires on his car you have, what does Harry say about how things are going out there?
Well, Chris, all the tires are the same. They're all made by Goodyear, and there really isn't any difference. They just slipped on a set of coal ones. In 5 or 6, 7 laps, they're going to be about equal to what he had before. And I think maybe we're just handling a little better. And after a while, Cale starts to push, and Harry can just drive under him.
Okay, we'll be watching. Bob Johnson, Harry Gant's crew chief. Back to you, Jim.
I think the most informative thing there, Jackie, may have been the last statement that he expects Cale Yarborough to start pushing after a few laps, and Harry may get down under him.
Well, I think Harry must be feeling for that and looking forward to it.
Okay, the racing is live. It's in Atlanta, and we'll return in a minute. We return to Atlanta International Raceway, and still the two-way battle goes on. Cale Yarborough in the lead, Harry Gant second. Gant well within striking distance. It's one of the winningest drivers of all time on the NASCAR Grand National Circuit against a driver who's never won at all in Grand National Racing. It's a real classic confrontation, and one that looks like it's going to go right to the end. We have 35 laps left in the race. That is just under 52 miles. That's all. So we're really beginning to set up for that final dash.
These two drivers dominating now. We've had King Richard Petty go out with engine trouble. Cale Petty, his son, he went out with engine trouble. Buddy Baker had a problem. And there you see Cale Yarborough sawing away at that steering wheel, high on the banking there, coming out of turn 2 right now. We had Buddy Baker hit the wall in turn 3, not at all injured. We had Elliott Ford Robinson also hit the turn 3 wall, and the inside he did it, and he's okay also. David Pearson is out as well. So therefore we've got, and there's Dale Earnhardt, Jim, who last year was the national champion. The year before that was the rookie. The new rookie driver here in the NASCAR Trail, and then went on the following year to win the national championship, and now in 3rd position, but he's a lap behind. So therefore he's just stroking it along and making sure he picks up that 3rd place finish, and of course a lot of points here in the NASCAR championship. And of course this is a very important part of a racing driver's season.
The man leading for the national championship in the early part of this season had been King Richard Petty, but he is out of the race today. Boy, here's an old acquaintance of yours, Jackie. Number 51 is A.J. Foyt Jr., 4-time winner of Indianapolis. But as you know, he just loves to race at age 46. Just behind him is Bobby Allison in car number 28. There are two real veteran and extremely skilled drivers on the racetrack together. Foyt, as we say, has won 4 Indianapolis 500s. Every so often he takes it into his head, son of a gun, I'd like to go down and race with those NASCAR guys again, which is not his circuit at all, but he's always competitive.
But when he does come to NASCAR, he always puts a show on, and of course NASCAR puts a tremendous show on, Chip. I go to so many races during the calendar year, and how many races in the world could you see where you see it at this stage? Cale Yarborough leading the event with not a great amount of space before Harry Gant gets up behind him, and you see how hard Cale's working, and this 298th lap that he's now on, and Harry Gant is on the right-hand side of your picture. This is motor racing. This is what this capacity crowd has come to Atlanta for, because they get value for money. Tremendously close racing. We've seen a lot of disappointments. Neil Bonnet dominating the race early, had to fall out. The Wood brothers, very sad. A freak situation. One of the blades of his fan came off and punctured the tire. Very sad for him, of course, a major engine vibration. He had to drop out. And there you see Harry Gant using the steering wheel a little heavier than he was before, passing another car on a fresh part of the racetrack for him. When they go around there, a driver chooses a line very carefully. 1.5 miles around this racetrack. By now they know exactly where they want to be, where on the racetrack their car best handles. And these are the shorter, mid-sized American cars. They're using this first year of these cars at the stock car racing. So therefore the cars are a little fresh, a little more nervous, a little trouble, and the drivers and teams are busy working very hard to make them handle.
And Cale Yarborough at this moment moving it out just a little bit over Harry Gant, but there could still be major changes. The difference between them well under a second. We'll be back live. The live race continues in the Atlanta 500. Cale Yarborough still leading Harry Gant by a narrow margin. They're the only cars on the same lap. They are followed by Dale Earnhardt, as you see, Bobby Allison, and Benny Parsons. There are 25 laps left in the race. That is under 40 miles. And, of course, we'll be here for the live finish. There's the difference between them. There is the leader, Cale Yarborough. Second place, Harry Gant, is just 1 second behind him. We said we'll be back for the finish. Now for the finish of the other segment of today's program, the bodybuilding. Well, it's twilight time in Georgia. Streetlights beginning to pop on here and there. But on the race course, there is still enough visibility to finish this race. Cale Yarborough leading the second place car there, number 47. You saw the relationship between Yarborough in the lead, Harry Gant second. He can still catch Cale Yarborough, but he will have to have some sort of secret in order to do it. Since we left you, Yarborough has stretched that lead, but just by a very, very little bit. We said the racing is live. We're going to take a break and then come back to the finish. There are less than 12 laps to go in the Atlanta 500, and it looks like Cale Yarborough is now on his way to victory, because while we were away, Harry Gant, the only other car on the same lap, had to make a pit stop under the green. He lost a lap, so only this car is on the lap with itself. Number 27, Cale Yarborough, who's already earned on this racetrack some $286,000 in his career, looks like he's going to do it again. Just a matter of a few laps to go. If he can keep the car together, there's no way anybody's going to catch him. What was the story on that pit stop, Jackie?
Well, he came in, he took gas, and he put right side rubber on, which of course allows him to have a good handling car if something does occur. So therefore, for Harry Gant, his car will be going well. It was gas, I'm sure, that he came in for, and now he's fresh and ready to go. But it's so close to the end of the race that I would be very surprised if this man driving car number 27 will need to come into the pits, and therefore he could win the race. But Jim, I've seen a lot of NASCAR races, and I wouldn't leave my TV set right now, because a lot of things come up that's very unexpected.
No question of that. Now, Jackie, you know, this is a very different race cars, you know, this year than last year. They have changed the kind of American cars they're racing in.
Well, the top car is last year's car, and you can see, first of all, that's the large size American car as we've known in the past. You can see the swept back rear window frame there. The hood line is long. The car itself is much longer. It's a long wheelbase car. That's to say the distance between the front and the rear wheel is much longer than the car you see below. And that, of course, is the car that's leading this race at this time. There it is right there. That's the car of Cale Yarborough. Now that sets, with only 10 laps to go, a new problem for these drivers and teams in 1981. This is the beginning of the season, and these cars really aren't programmed in yet as well as they could be. And of course, it's ironic that a car like Cale Yarborough, a team like Cale Yarborough, and a driver with his experience this early in the season has got his car to work that little bit better than anybody else. That's what experience is all about, and a race driver of his experience adds tremendously to the ability of a car to get it super competitive at this stage.
Cale Yarborough, Jackie, has really had two careers in NASCAR, as you well know. Back in the 60s, he came along as a young man out of Timmonsville, South Carolina, made a big name for himself, made a good deal of money, and then decided to go into USAC. And for a few years, he drove the Indianapolis cars with very little success, as a matter of fact. Came back here, had to work his way up again, and now is one of the great names in the history of American stock car racing.
Very talented. Right now, Harry Gant is right behind Cale Yarborough. He's one lap behind, but he's trying to unlap himself. He's got fresh rubber, which means that the car is gripping the road that little bit better. If he can unlap himself, even with only 9 laps to go, Jim, a yellow flag could put this race back into business for for Harry Gant. So really, we could see something developing here.
Our unofficial count of laps in the booth shows less than 7 laps to go, as a matter of fact now, Jackie. But there they are together, and Gant really trying desperately to unlap himself from Cale Yarborough. As you've said, we've seen many stranger things happen in NASCAR races than what could happen here, and they're trying to make the move on Cale. Not quite able to make. Do you have a quick report, Chris?
Yes, Harry Gant's problem that forced him to the pits for that unscheduled stop was an equalized right front tire. The pressure in the inner liner leaked through to the outer thing, and that sets up a vibration, and he had to stop for new tires. Back to you, Jim.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Less than 6 laps now. There will be 5 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line there. Now less than 5 laps left in this race. Harry Gant still trying to unlap himself, hoping against hope now for his first Grand National victory on the NASCAR circuit.
a situation could develop here. You know, these two drivers are really driving very hard. If they were to come together for any reason, and that's happened before in NASCAR, we could see a whole new ball game. Obviously, Cale Yarborough wants to keep Harry Gant behind. It's a situation that Cale Yarborough in car number 27 at this time has to make a decision on. Does he let Harry Gant go past and therefore be sure of just cruising round, not getting himself involved in a touching match of bodywork, and therefore cruise home to an easy victory? Or does he drive hard enough, and it'll have to be pretty hard, to keep Harry Gant behind him? So therefore, Cale Yarborough at this stage, and remember, both drivers are quite tired. The cars themselves are well raced, well worn, and perhaps not handling at their very best. So therefore, these two have got to consider that.
Well, here's the man for whom the door could open should anything happen to the two up in front. Dale Earnhardt, he's in third, but remember, he is down a lap. But it's still, now here's Harry Gant, and he has unlapped himself from the leader now, but there are only 3 laps to go in the race.
Well, even if there was a yellow flag to come out right now, I fear that Harry Gant would not be able to take advantage of it. Cale Yarborough, you can see, has almost allowed him to get away rather too easily now. He now recognises, because he's probably in two-way radio contact with his pits, he's also got pit signals if that fails, to let him know that he has only 3 laps to go. And that, of course, tells him that the one thing he mustn't do is put himself in trouble against the wall or with another car, and he will be the winner of this great Atlanta 500.
Less than 2 laps to go now. Boy, if they had to go much further, visibility could get to be a problem out there. But it's going to be all right to the finish here in the Atlanta 500. Cale Yarborough on his way to victory, 1.5 laps to go, and he'll have it wrapped up. He should be getting the white flag when he comes by the start-finish line the next time. This will put him over the $300,000 mark just in races that he has won or has earned money in on this racetrack. Atlanta International, or AIR as they call it down here.
Well, he's got the white flag.
Yep.
The white flag has now been shown. Cale Yarborough has picked up out of motor racing earnings $3,401,528. For an American, a lot of money. For a Scotsman, oh my goodness, isn't it a lot of money?
A good deal. And interesting that 1/10 of everything he's won has been on this racetrack. So he really has had good luck here.
And he is a very consistent driver. We must take our hats off to Cale Yarborough. Very dedicated man, tough man, hard little man. A man of average height, James, not a big tall man.
I thought I almost heard you use the word little. There's the checkered flag. Cale Yarborough, the 40-year-old star of the NASCAR circuit, has won yet another race. It's the Atlanta 500. With twilight setting in here in the south, it is finally over. A race that started 3 hours and 45 minutes ago, approximately. There's the second place finisher. It'll be Harry Gant. That's equal to the best he's ever finished in a Grand National race. But he's done himself proud here today, and his reputation will certainly have grown by what he's done on this racetrack.
He should truly be a proud man tonight. He certainly has done well. Another man who should be proud is Dale Earnhardt there in car number 2. He's coming into 3rd position in this great race. Dale Earnhardt, regular as ever, shown tremendous maturity in the last few years, and a man of enormous experience. Car number 28, Bobby Allison. So much controversy about the problem of the rear spoiler earlier in the week here at Atlanta. He comes in and finishes 4th.
5th place will go to Benny Parsons in car number 15. There, however, is the winning car. As we come to you live, we're going to have time for an interview with the winner, it looks like. So as he rolls towards victory lane, takes that left turn in there. Why don't we take one more break, then come back for a word with Cale Yarborough. Let's go to Frank Gifford. Down in the winner's circle is the winner with Chris Economaki. There's Cale. Okay, Chris.
Oh, happy man, Cale. Congratulations. Number 70. Did you know that?
Well, no, I didn't, Chris. I wasn't counting them. I was just worried about this one, but this MC Anderson Valvoline car ran perfect all day for us. Really good.
You were huffing and puffing when you got out the car, Cale. Was it a tough day?
It was a tough day, and I come down with a bad cold or the flu or something this morning, so I had a pretty tough day all day. I can't hardly talk.
Betty Jo, how are you going to celebrate?
With my children tonight, just real thankful, real happy, and thank the good Lord for a good, safe race.
Well, that's a happy crew here. Colonel MC Anderson, his daughters and his wife, and Cale Yarborough, the winner with his wife. Win number 70 on the Grand National Circuit for Cale Yarborough. Back to you, Jim.
Mrs. Yarborough mentioned it was a safe race, and so it was. The only slight injury, a shoulder, we understand so far, was to Dave Marcus, driving the car in which we had the live camera. Let's take a look at the final standings then. These are unofficial. They're not official for half hour yet, but we have no reason to believe they won't become official. K.R. Yarborough, the winner, followed by Harry Gant, and congratulations to him on that fine showing. Dale Earnhardt, third. Bobby Allison, fourth. And Benny Parsons was fifth. King Richard Petty, if you're wondering about him, did not finish the race today, and neither did David Pearson. So that's about the story from Atlanta International Raceway. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what Friendly Skies are all about. So we want to make sure to get that in for you. As we wrap things up here, as we said, it was a safe race, one of the safest we've seen in a long time, Jackie, and that was a bit of a surprise because they have these new and slightly still unfamiliar race cars this year.
Well, I think the drivers themselves were taking care and attention. Of course, they're all professionals out here. They have to be conservative. Remember, the average speed was around 133 miles an hour, so therefore they had to be careful. A good, safe race, wonderful NASCAR racing again, and of course we're going to be back in Darlington, so I look forward to that.